Welcome to episode 31 of Soft Signal Podcast, where we talk about Indian cricket or just happenings in cricket every week. I'm Varun and I'm joined by my co host Aditya.
Yes, it's us again to talk about some of the interesting things that have happened in the cricket universe in the last few weeks.
Yeah,
Not
and
much has
since,
happened though.
I mean, that's an understatement. But yeah, we not much to discuss, but a lot of flash in the pan moments. So, first thing is Australia won the T20 World Cup, which is now their, I think, eighth tournament victory, major tournament victory, way more than any other team. T20 World Cup was one they had never won before, and they managed to get their hands on it. And this was unexpected. They were never not the favorites at all. We had never predicted it. So, how do you feel about that? Was that it's annoying to see Australia win again, right?
Yeah, it's annoying to see them win again, but I think it was inevitable. A team like Australia had to win this tournament at some stage, and it did it in the end. Although I wouldn't have said that they were the strongest or the favorites to win that tournament, but you can never write Australia out. You can never write them off. They're always a team that sort of gels together just before the tournament, during the tournament. They always seem to peak at the right time, and I think I think if there's ever a template as to how to win an ICC tournament, then Australia has that template. So yeah, it was it was an interesting win for them in the end, and um, again, I wouldn't say that they were the best team in the end, but that's what a tournament is all about. It's not necessary that the best team wins. It's just that the best team on the day, the team with the best presence of mind, takes home the trophy. I think it was Australia this time.
Yeah, and they just have that clutch mentality in knockouts, right? They've done it so many times. Like my dad was asking me before the match that who are you supporting, and I said I can never actively support Australia because of all the trauma that we went through growing up, right? Like I don't want them to lose particularly, but you can never want them to win because of uh, seeing them win so much. So that's just. Um, but they did win. New Zealand lost another final. Uh, think they're tired of being the nice guys now. They probably want to win some stuff. But not all wins for Australia because, on the other hand, in their test squad, some shocking revelations just a couple of days ago. Tim Payne, the good boy, the man who was supposed to resurrect Australian cricket after the sandpaper gate, turns out he's involved in another kind of ball tampering scandal.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny. Looks like all the Australian players are slowly, getting involved in some kind of scandal or the other.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, when these revelations come out because uh, I think this was from 2017 and the revelation has happened now. But I think action has been pretty swift. Tim Payne came out, he's resigned as captain just before the Ashes. That means Pat Cummins is probably going to take charge of the team for the Ashes. So quite a rocky transition for him. But yeah, I mean, for all the good poster boy image of Tim Payne, and as you said, the guy was supposed to resurrect Australian cricket after the sandpaper gate. Turns out that he had a scandal of his own going on at around the
Yeah.
same time. So, so yeah, quite a revelation, quite surprising and shocking, but rocky transition for Pat Cummins. We'll have to see how it affects the Ashes preparation.
Yeah, and it's. I was reading that Australia have not had a fast bowler captain for 65 years. Fast bowler captains are not that common anyway. I don't think Pollock or Wasim Akram were like the last ones, right? Perhaps that I can remember off the top of my head at least. So it's been a while. It's also the fast bowlers Australia like to rotate them, so it'll be interesting to see who they pick as maybe Cummins as like captain just for the Ashes, and then there's talk that they might even go back to Steve Smith, which would just be hilarious. And yeah, after all that talk about elite honesty and that whole test documentary, it's just they knew about it. So how did they sweep it under the rug that time? And it's pretty hypocritical.
Yeah, it is. It is odd to say the least. It is odd, but well, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe in a few years, Steve Smith will be back as captain, and the wheel would have turned a full circle.
Yeah,
But we'll see. One thing's for sure: Australia will still be the favourites for this Ashes because it's in Australia, home conditions, and yeah. Ben Stokes is back though for England, so that should be interesting. But I think uh, it'll be an interesting Ashes, like most of them have been in the last few years.
yeah, probably going to be Ashes, especially in Australia. Just love watching Test cricket in Australia. It's going to be a great atmosphere. We'll get to that a bit later, but just before we do, just wanted to take note of the fact that AB de Villiers is finally, not fine. We're not like we were waiting for him, but he's retired now from all professional cricket. So that means he retired from playing international cricket a few years ago, but now no IPL, no PSL, BBL, CPL, whatever he plays in. One of the greatest, you think, in the past 20 years at least?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of AB, right? And it's quite amazing the kind of stuff he does. But I don't think he, for me anyways, qualifies as one of the greatest. I think that the last few years of his career were really good for him, but it's not like the first few years were very good. I mean, it's not like Kohli, right, who kind of has dominated throughout his career, or Steve Smith, who's dominated throughout his career in Test match cricket at least, or even the greats from yesteryear like Sachin or Ponting and all. I felt AB kind of didn't have a great start to his career, or even the middle of his career was not great. I mean, you can't think of any outstanding knocks by him, any back to the wall outstanding performance in an ODI or test match in the first or the middle of his career. It just seemed to happen more towards the latter half of his career. So I think that is something that probably doesn't make me want to qualify him as an all-time great. Yes, he is one of the most versatile and competent batsmen of the last few years, I would say, but probably not of the last 20 years. And that's
Yeah,
that's I think something that I feel has worked against him. He's an outstanding T20 player. He's had his moments in Test cricket, but they've been far and few in between. But then when you look at his record, I think he's got 25 Test hundreds. It's just that none of those Test hundreds stand out. Like, I don't know when they happened. So I think he did a lot towards the latter part of his career, but the first and the middle part was sort of probably unfulfilled in a way.
yeah. And I mean, he does have the fastest ODI 100 and stuff like that also. But that was again like after 2014, 2013, 2014, last few years. Uh, and
Sorry, I had to step
so
away. That it's getting incredibly dark here, even though it's 2:45 in the afternoon, because I think
that's
I think it's going to
winters.
rain, and it's
Yeah.
winter, so
Just in case you needed a Sunday to be any more depressing. But
depressing. Yeah.
digressing, but AB de Villiers, like supremely talented. I think that's something I would definitely say that probably the one of the most talented players in the last few years, and he could have done more for South Africa. Kind of ditched them. Like he had this thing going for a couple of years that there's too much cricket and he needs breaks, and he kept taking breaks and then finally just retired. I think he strung them along a bit. Um, but players of his stature, I guess he was untouchable in that during that time, so took advantage of it. And the biggest thing is, of course, and which hopefully doesn't happen to a lot of the Indian cricketers right now, is no trophies, right? Um, South Africa are not known for winning big trophies, but he also could not, despite his genius, could not propel them to any major titles.
Yeah, that's a good point. No trophies. I think so. When did he make his debut? Probably back in 2003 or
Yeah,
four, because
that's
he
four.
was he was a part of the team that chased down 470, 435 at the time.
Yeah, I think he
He
was
was there.
opening, right? Or he was in somewhere in the
No, he
middle.
was in the middle order. He was in at number 4 or 5. He scored like 20 odd runs, I remember. but he was there in that team, and this was in 2004. Um, and yeah, and I mean, I just think that he didn't do enough in the early and the middle part of his career. All of his, the substantial contributions, the talk about AB de Villiers being as good as he was, only happened towards the latter half. So, and that coincided with them not winning or them not qualifying, uh, or, uh, or rather them not making it beyond the semifinals in 2015. Then in 2019 he didn't play. In 2011 he did play. He was in the World Cup team, but then they
They
lost.
choked to New
They
Zealand.
choked there again against New Zealand. And um, in 2007 again he was there, but again that was the early part of his career where his
Yeah.
contributions weren't really up to the standard. So I think one good thing is that he evolved a lot along his career, right? So he didn't come in as somebody who could do the kind of things he used to do today. So at least that's nice to see that he evolved a lot. He developed more skills throughout his career, but yeah, I think there's still a lot that could have happened. A lot more could have happened, and that didn't. So yeah, that's something that prevents me from calling him an all-time great, but a good player nevertheless.
Yeah, for sure. So wish him all the best. We'll definitely miss seeing him in IPL also. But for the second half of this show, I think we decided to go back to doing one of our quizzes. It'll be a quick one. Hopefully, we'll be able to knock it off pretty soon. Uh, with the Ashes coming up, which we spoke about briefly, we're going to try to name all players who've taken part in an Ashes. Luckily for us, it's since 2005. So since we were very much cricket fans, so hopefully we can do well. Share my screen and get to the quiz. Okay, can you see everything? Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. So as I said, the quiz is, can you name the Ashes players 2005 to 2020? So there wasn't an Ashes in 2020, so it's 2019, and includes the coaches as well. So you ready? Let's start.
Yeah,
Okay. So let's go with. We'll
a
start
list
in
of
order, I
four.
guess.
It just Cook, Anderson,
Peterson,
Anderson,
Anderson, Broad, Bell, Swan, Trot. Okay.
Broad,
Yeah.
Root,
Root, Stokes.
Vokes,
Oh,
Folks, maybe Ben Folks played. I don't know.
I don't think so. Besto.
Besto, who are the obvious ones? Besto, Trot, Bell,
Lan played, I think, on Ashes last time.
Ashley Giles, Simon
Monty,
Jones,
Pansar,
Flitcroft,
Flintoff, Vaughan, Trescothick,
Spathic.
Strauss. This is a 2005 team.
This is the 2005. Simon Jones,
Hogarth,
Hogarth,
Steve Harmison.
Thomason,
Who else was the bowler then? Who were missing 2005? I think it was Jones, Hogarth, Harmison, Flintoff, Giles.
Giles. I think those were the five, right?
But then we're missing someone in between.
Missing somebody in the squad. Oh, okay.
That's gonna be hard to get, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, 2007. I think this was Collingwood was there, right?
Collingwood.
I think that might be the
I
person
think
missing in
that might
2005.
be,
Yeah.
yeah, right. Okay, okay. You want to try some Australian names as well?
Yeah, so let's go with the
Ponting,
all-time.
Hayden, Langer, Ponting.
What a team, right?
What
With
a team.
feel goosebumps typing this. Clark, Gilchrist,
Christ, Simons, Katic,
McGrath, Gatich, Lee, Gillespie,
Gillespie, Wall,
Vaughan, McGill didn't play, I think. Who were the other bowlers? Kasparovich. Spelling might be a bit difficult, but I got it.
Castro, Shane Warne.
Yeah,
Okay,
Shane.
you got one there. Castro. Did they have a?
Tate, right?
You can
Tate.
try. You can try Tate. Horitz. If not here, then he'd probably fit in somewhere else.
Yeah.
Um,
I think Phil Hughes, rest in peace, but he was there in 2009.
hmm,
Chris Rogers, right?
Chris Rogers, Phil Hughes. Who else?
Oh,
Maybe
Hasi.
right, Mike Hussey. Just trying to think of some of the more recent players as well.
Yeah, so we'll go to Warner, Smith, Quadra,
Warner
uh,
Smith, Quadra,
Labuschagne.
Shane, Peter Handscomb. Um, who else? Um,
Payne.
Tim Payne. Tim Payne. Mm, we got Joe Root. We got uh, some of the bowlers. So there's Anderson, Broad, Vokes, Jones,
Bresnan was there. I don't know why his
Preston,
name came up. Plunkett. Okay. Put in the Australian bowlers. Cummins, Stark,
Stark, Hazelwood.
Hazelwood, Hazelwood, Ryan. Uh, there's some bowlers from previous Ryan Harris, Siddle,
The left arm, I'm forgetting, Mitch Johnson.
Johnson.
Mm.
We got 185. Um, Keepers.
So Geraint Jones,
Then Pryor
Haddon,
Haddon,
Pryor, Haddon. Who's the keeper today for England?
Butler,
Butler, yeah. And Australia's keeper today is
campaign, at least for now.
Matthew Wade. He must have played at some stage.
Yep.
Wade.
Where is then? Head.
Travis Head. Sean Marsh.
I think we'll get to. Oh, we got. Oh, yeah, because it
There's
takes.
Mitch Marsh as well.
Yeah.
What about Dan Christian? I don't know if he's played Test
Played
matches.
everything, but he hasn't played in Ashes.
Okay.
Let's coaches was Duncan Fletcher, right? And then Andy Flower.
Mickey Arthur for Australia, I think, at some stage. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm,
Who was the coach in these 4 Ashes? Oh, it was Darren Lehman, right?
yeah.
Then I think the 2005 was John Buchanan.
Oh, he was there at that stage. Okay, interesting.
This was Mouse. And who's been the coach for England recently?
Coach.
Bayless, right?
Try. Yeah. And there's an Australian coach from 2009.
Yeah, it's just tricky. Can't remember who that could have been. After John Buchanan. I think the Nielsen,
Tim Nielsen. Okay,
these names, I read about him just yesterday because he came up somewhere. So we're done with the coaches, with the keepers. We still
Maybe
have
let's try
82.
some more bowlers. English bowlers.
Yeah, all of these from 2019 are missing.
Yeah, any spinner. So Monty Panesar, Graham Swan.
Yeah.
Put those.
Gopara played once.
Which spinners did they have?
Who's the English spinner right now? It's
Dom
Leach, right?
Dom Bess, Moeen Ali.
Yeah, Ali.
Dom Bess, Rashid. Yeah.
Bess is
He's not yet there. Okay. Did Zampa play ever for Australian Ashes?
no. Who's I'm just trying to think of fast bowlers in the English squad 2019.
So there was Steve Finn.
Finn was there at 29.
Graham Onions. I don't know. I'm just
Yes.
giving names.
No, all of them are there.
They're somewhere, right? Graham Onions, Steve
Burns.
Jake Wood, right? Wood. Chris Wood. Forget his Mark Wood, right? Sorry, Jake Ball, but okay, I think he would not have been.
He's
Oh, he
like
was there. Okay, interesting.
ranked.
In 2017. Okay, I didn't know he played in 17. Okay. Um,
They went through so many openers, right? With Cook, I'm just trying to think of some of them.
there
Carberry,
was what's his name? Carberry, right?
yeah, put them in.
Ah, you put him in.
Robson,
Robson.
no.
There was was it Nick Thompson? The right.
Compton.
Compton, yeah,
But
right.
don't think he did it.
Okay.
There you go.
Mark Stoneman.
Did Ollie Robinson play ever? I think he made his debut against India this time, so not him. Okay, we can go back to the start. Wow, we got everything from 2005. 2007, we're missing a few.
2007 was when they smashed them 5-0, right?
Yeah.
So
Damien Martin, we got him.
they got Martin. Mhm.
I think we're
Good.
entering the territory where we get stuck.
I think we're missing bowlers on both sides. I think. But
Because it,
these would be all the backup bowlers who probably never played.
yeah. But who could it be
Um,
from Australia? Like, see, if it's a away series for the team, they take a lot of people. But I'm just trying to think who are these people who would have been in the squad but didn't play in 2007. We put Mitchell Johnson already because he was
yeah,
a
Mitchell Johnson's
captain.
in there. Sean Tate, Simons, McGrath, Clark.
I'm surprised Stuart McGill is not there.
Yeah.
Thought he would have been around.
Mm,
2009. There's one player we're not gonna get, I think. But someone in the there was this guy called what's his name? That number
Marcus
Marcus
North.
North.
Yeah, Marcus North. Yeah, they got him. There was Brad Haddon and Brad Hodge, maybe.
Hodge. No,
No,
unfortunately.
he never made an Ashes squad.
Yeah, I think he was in the. I thought he was in the squad, but apparently not. Oh, Vigar was there.
Mm,
Finch has ever been in the squad? No. England 2011. This is the one they won in Australia. Who was opening for Australia in that series? It's Katic and
Watson.
Watson. Yeah, he's gonna.
Okay, we got him in quite a few places. Shane Watson. Okay.
The bowling. We've got Johnson, Siddle, Harris. Oh, I think this guy Hilfenhaus.
Ben Hilfenhaus, yeah. Okay, 2009 is done for
Yeah.
Australia. Did they have any spinner back in 11? For sure they did, right?
Horrits, and then they had
You got Horrocks in
Rita.
2009. Jason Kretzer.
They had a bunch of. Oh, this guy called Beer was there. I remember.
Michael Beer.
Played the fifth test.
Hmm. What about the current lot? Some of them would have been there, right? Back then.
I'm missing a few people from who opened with Burns in 2019. I thought it was Sibley, but it's not. And again, who opened with Warner as well.
So the
2019.
2019 Ashes was the one in England, right? Which
With Stokes, that Headingley
Stokes,
test.
the dramatic test match of Stokes. David Warner.
Just trying to think who are both sides not getting the openers because that's normally pretty easy to get.
I remember Warner was like a walking wicket that whole series. So
Yeah, and it wasn't Finch. It wasn't Rogers because he had retired. It wasn't Watson, obviously. So who's been playing for Australia recently?
was it Sean Marsh? But we've done Marsh.
Yeah, done Marsh.
Travis Head, okay, we got him as well. Who was the opener in when India played Australia 2 years ago when
It was
Smith and
Harris, right? Marcus Harris.
Marcus
What
Harris,
happened? Harris, Brian Harris. There was another guy who was really Renshaw, maybe.
Matt Renshaw,
Hmm. We've got only 2 minutes left. We
like
obviously won't get episode.
Keaton Jennings. That reminded me.
Jennings, yes. Oh,
No, it's not okay. What
Jennings?
about Hasib Hamid? He didn't actually play any Ashes.
No, I think this is gonna kill us when we see the names.
Yeah, for sure.
Who played in
2000.
the series against India right now? It was Burns, Sibley, Root, Besto, Ali, Wokes, Stokes, Anderson, Robinson. Did they have a spinner who I'm missing? Wood also we got.
Um, mm,
Oh, I think this is Bancroft, right?
yes. Oh, yes. The Sandpaper Gate guy.
Yeah,
What about Cameron White?
he might have been around.
Been there at some stage.
No,
What about the new all-rounder? What's his Cameron Green
I think he debuted in against India.
against India? Okay. Mm,
Oh well, 35 seconds. This is not bad for a non-Indian team quiz, I guess.
yeah,
There's going to be a few obscure people here, or maybe not so obscure. I'm glad we got 2005 because that was a memorable series.
that really was. Yes.
And then,
We got Steve Smith there. I hope he did.
yes,
Okay, time's up.
okay, we'll let the reveal happen. Let's go from the start. We got 84, which is a bit more than the average, so that's good.
Okay.
So, Ed Joyce, Chris Reed, yeah, all these.
I remember Sajid Mahmood, Adam
Adam
Woj.
Hodges. He had an insane average. Was
Yeah.
side bottom.
Okay. The left arm.
Owen Morgan,
Owen Morgan. Oh, God.
Stephen
Tremlett.
Davies,
We
Tremblay
should
we
have
should
got
have got.
Tremlett.
Yeah.
Ah,
This is another spinner, Doherty,
Xavier Doherty, Doug Bollinger. Okay.
Callum Ferguson,
I remember Callum Ferguson used to play for
James
Peterborough.
Taylor, Tremlett again. If you had got Tremlett, you got quite a few.
Yeah.
Anyway, Pattinson.
Ah,
Faulkner was in a test squad. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. He's there again in 13 and 14. Huh?
Yeah, Ed Cowan,
That guy.
Gary Balance
Ah, shit.
in the
Look
news
at
recently for
Tremlett.
the wrong reasons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. We look at Tremlett. We got him for three. And Bollinger is Nathan Coulton and
George Bailey.
George Bailey. Wasn't Bailey the captain of that? No.
In ODIs, he was a captain for
Yes.
or T20 one of them. Adam Lith. Who's this? I've never heard of
Okay, we
this.
never have got him. Huh?
Aaron Borges again. Fawad Ahmad was in the squad. James Vince. A lot of these. Oh, Karan we could have got. I think Karan was in 2019. Glenn Maxwell.
Maxwell. Okay.
Oh, the opener was Roy. Yeah, because they
Ah,
had taken
yes,
him
of
for
course.
2 tests and he failed really badly. They dropped him.
Oh man, Jofra Archer.
Oh wow. Overton, Karan. This is really bad.
We should have got Archer and Karan for sure.
Yeah. So if we got Pattinson, Tremlett, Archer, Karan. Anyway, not bad.
Not bad, yeah.
So that
Yeah,
was
that
fun
was
to do another
exciting.
quiz after a while. I hope you guys
Yeah.
enjoyed it as well. Could have done a bit better in hindsight. Uh, that's the motto of my life. Thanks
And
everyone for
hindsight is
watching.
the most beautiful thing.
It is. Uh, well, I think we can wrap up this week's episode, and we will catch you next week, where we'll probably start doing some kind of You might do an Ashes preview, or you might do uh, something totally unrelated. We will decide and get back, and we'll have something in store for you next week.
Yeah, it sounded as if you're answering one of those client calls.
I know. So it's reality of life. But
Yeah,
thanks for
yeah.
watching, guys. See ya.
Thanks for watching. See you next week.